everybody, and welcome to the weekly scope from the 6th to the 12th of October. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's weekly scopes. If you've heard this before, you can skip, but this is just the intro on how I formulate these astrology weekly readings. I use astrology and my intuition to give you advice how you can practically use the knowledge of the stars and the planets and apply them to your life. So my weekly scopes are all based on GMT time and on Vedic constellational astrology. So now I'm just going to explain what Vedic constellation astrology is and how it differs from Western astrology. So the precession of the equinox is sort of like something that happens in astronomy and astrology, where the Earth's axis undergoes a slow circular motion over 26,000 years, and basically this means that this motion causes a shift in the position of the equinoxes, and also the calculation Vedic and Western astrologies use. So around 2,000 years ago, the tropical and sidereal Vedic astrology signs of astrology were aligned in the same position. So if the sun was in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, it was also in the constellation of Scorpio in Western astrology. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, this has caused a gradual westward sort of like drift of the tropical Western signs. So basically these signs and the Western signs shift 1 degree with every 72 years. So as a result of this ongoing shift, when Western astrology says the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, it's typically in the constellation of Aquarius. Still, this is because the degree, orb and the date for Western and Vedic astrology are 24 degrees, 24 days apart. So in Western astrology, the sun enters the constellation of Pisces around the 19th of February each year, but actually the sun doesn't arrive into the constellation of Pisces until the 13th to the 15th of March each year, and Vedic astrology takes this into account because it's based on the fixed star positions, and Vedic astrologers use sidereal calculations. So as a result, Vedic astrology takes into account the actual positions of the constellations in the sky at any given time, and also considers the precession of the equinox, adjusting for the shift in the position of the equinoxes over time. But in terms of Western astrology follows the tropical zodiac, which is based on the seasons rather than fixed star positions. Western astrologers also do not directly account for the precession of the equinox in their calculations as well, so this results in slightly different calculations and interpretations that are given whether we're using Western astrology or Vedic astrology. So yeah, as I said, Western astrology uses specific dates, so every year, regardless of where the sun actually is at the sky, the sun moves into Pisces around the 19th of February. So yeah, this discrepancy, this misalignment between the tropical zodiac and the actual positions of the constellations has led to a discrepancy between Vedic astrology and Western astrology. So I consider the actual where the sun and the moon are and where Mars and Venus are at any given time, and this is how I formulate these sort of like weekly scopes. So yeah, thanks for listening to this, and let's dive into this week's weekly scope. Okay, so now I'm just going to explain what parallels and contra-parallels are in astrology, because I use them in my chart interpretation. So declination in astrology is the measure of how far a celestial body is, such as the sun, whether it's either north or south of the celestial equator. And the celestial equator is an imaginary line in the sky above the Earth's equator, which us astrologers use in our interpretation. So parallels happen when two planets are on the same declination, either both planets are on the north side side, or either both planets are on the south side, and this alignment increases the influence of the involved planets. So it's similar to a conjunction aspect, as it amplifies their energy, making the effects of the planets more pronounced. Contra-parallels, on the other hand, happen when two planets are on the same declination, but one is in the north and one is in the south. So this alignment creates tension, which is similar to an opposition aspect, and it can lead to conflict, challenges and inner struggles between the energies of the planets involved. So contra-parallels highlight areas of friction or contrast in our lives, urging us to find balance between their opposing forces at play. When transiting parallels and contra-parallels happen, they can sort of like trigger significant events, shifting consciousness and periods of intense growth and transformation. So I look at these aspects closely during chart analysis to understand how planetary energies interact and influence each other during a specific time frame, to pinpoint key periods for personal development, relationship dynamics or career shifts, and other shifts like karmic shifts and stuff like that. Because I just find using contra-parallels and parallels gives me more depth in interpretation, so I use them. So contra-parallels and parallels in astrology serve as markers for potential challenges or breakthroughs, guiding us towards more self-awareness, love, acceptance, understanding, forgiveness for ourselves and others, and shifts in consciousness and growth. So overall, just a shift in our mindset if we allow for it. So parallels and contra-parallels just kind of like provide valuable insights into the complexities and nuances of the astrological interactions between planetary movements. So yeah, that's the end of what contra-parallels and parallels are. Okay, so this week we've got two energies flavouring our week. So we've got two Mercury transits. So we've got Mercury making a parallel to Saturn. So this just means that Saturn and Mercury are on the same side of the sphere. And this entered on the 6th of October at 11:49 a.m. and is exact at 7:22 a.m. on the 9th of October, and going to leave us on the 12th, so really with us all of this week at 5:29 a.m. on the 12th. That's when it's leaving, yeah. And then we've got Mercury making a contra-parallel to the wounded healer Chiron. So contra-parallel similar to an opposition, and a parallel works the same as a conjunction in astrology. Mercury contra-parallel to Chiron enters on the 7th of October at 11:11 p.m. So if you're into angel numbers, that's a good one, synergy. And it's exact on the 10th of October at 4:17 p.m. and leaves us on the 13th of October at 11:56 a.m. So when Mercury is parallel to Saturn in astrology, it signifies a harmonious alignment between communication, which is represented by Mercury, and discipline and karma, which is represented by Saturn. So on the positive end, it increases our focus throughout the week. It allows us to be practical in our thinking and structured in our communication and overall well-being. So it's good for those who have got writing projects that they need to restart or start. Good energy for that, and it allows you to find it easier to concentrate on tasks that require attention to detail. On the downside, it sometimes can lead to overly critical or pessimistic thinking, and it's essential to maintain a balanced perspective during this time. So the best use of Mercury's parallel to Saturn is to tackle challenging intellectual tasks, or have serious conversations that require clarity and precision. And when Mercury is contra-parallel with Chiron, it indicates a potential clash between communication, Mercury, and deep emotional wounds. So this kind of puts pressure on the parallel to Saturn, but Saturn energy allows us to be disciplined when dealing with our emotions and their emotional needs and demands and moods of others. It increases our opportunities for healing through honest and open conversations about past hurts in relationships or in our lives. And some of you may find yourself uncovering buried emotions that need to be addressed. The negatives can manifest as misunderstandings or triggers related to past traumas, leading to sensitive exchanges with others or emotional turbulence. It's crucial to approach communication with empathy and understanding at this time. So all in all, when Mercury's parallel to Saturn in astrology, it's a time when communication and logical thinking are grounded in practicality and discipline. It encourages us to approach conversations and decision making with the structured mindset, as I said, and focus on long-term goals rather than immediate gratification. So just like endless scrolling on social media, or just doing anything that you get your pleasure now but your long-term goals suffer. This allows you to focus at the most tedious of tasks or conversations. Sometimes we don't want to have those deeper meaningful lovers conversations, do we, all those business negotiations, but this allows us to not look so bored when we're in the boardroom or in the bedroom sort of thing. So if you have an important presentation at this time, you can really do well if you carefully plan your points. So as I said, you may not want to, but this energy allows you to delve into the spreadsheets and annual reports and them archives. I guess everyone keeps them online now, but if you've got those old filing systems going into the basement of your office building and stuff as well, it just allows you to pay attention to detail, which is really good. But Mercury's contra-parallel to Chiron wants us to deal with the deep-seated emotional wounds that are related to communication and learning. So if you feel like, I'm too old, or I can't spell right, I can't read right. As someone who's dyslexic, I suffer with learning disabilities throughout my life, and it stopped me for so many years, but now I just embrace it. I embrace all of me, and this energy wants you to embrace you and know whatever it is you want to write or communicate, whether you want to create content, the right people for you will see it. In terms of content creators, you can use the energy of Mercury parallel Saturn to discuss how we can get our ideas across and messages to others with authority, and more sort of like be more effective in our structure, and emphasize the importance of being clear, concise and detail orientated in our creation processes, and also to be so in yours during this week. Make a plan, even if what you are doing. I've got a to-do list journal. I write everything down, tick it off as I go on through the week. Content related to productivity tips and time management and strategies and practical ways to achieve our goals can do well this week as well. Also, you can use the energy of Mercury's contra-parallel to Chiron to create content related to healing, self-awareness and overcoming past wounds. And you can focus on writing about personal growth, inner strength and transformative experiences, encouraging people to share stories of resilience, vulnerability as they journey towards their emotional healing. Also exploring themes such as self-acceptance, forgiveness and the power of self-expression as well, and how important that is in healing from childhood trauma, past heartache, life life setbacks and past life trauma as well. This transit offers the opportunity to discuss alternative healing techniques and holistic approaches to wellness and ways to integrate mind, body and spirit connections in your content. Okay, so on the 6th of October, Mercury makes a square to Mars at 7:37. The moon enters Scorpio at 1:04 p.m. The sun makes a quincunx to Saturn at 7:29, and the moon enters its crescent moon phase, where it stays for about 3 to 5 days max, at 10:51 p.m. So Mercury Square to Mars leaves us on the 7th of October, and Mercury is in the constellation of Virgo and Mars is in the constellation of Gemini. The Sun's quincunx to Saturn also leaves us on the 7th of October at 6:23 p.m. So when the moon enters Scorpio, it brings a sense of intensity and emotional depth. It encourages us to dig deep into our subconscious, uncover hidden truths and embrace transformation. We may feel more passionate, intuitive and inclined towards introspection, self-reflection during this time. And on the positive side, the moon in Scorpio can help us connect with our innermost desires and motivations. It promotes self-discovery, healing and empowerment, and it's an excellent time for facing deep-seated emotions and letting go of past hurts and embracing personal growth. The crescent moon phase happens shortly after the new moon and symbolises a time of setting intentions and taking action towards our goals. It encourages us to step outside of our comfort zones, initiate new beginnings and pursue our goals and aspirations with enthusiasm. It signifies a period of growth and development where we can use the energies of the cosmos to manifest our desires. Negatively though, the crescent moon phase can make us feel more restless and impatient, as well as we try and make progress towards our goals. Mercury Square to Mars helps us with the mental clarity and sharp communication skills, and it gives us the motivation to overcome our obstacles and confront life and its problems head on. But negatively, it can add to the conflicts of this week and impulsiveness in communication. But as I said, we've got that Saturn energy stabilising us as well. But the best use of this energy is to use it to do things that are productive for your overall well-being, stability on the emotional, psychological, physical and financial and spiritual levels, and do things that really require your focus and determination, because we've got a lot of energy this week helping us do that, even though we've got some energy causing conflict. And just be mindful of the way you speak to others to avoid unnecessary conflicts, because Mars is squaring Mercury, so we can be really aggressive with our words and forceful with them. The Sun's quincunx to Saturn encourages us and supports us in being more responsible, disciplined, especially in our long-term planning, and it can help us establish structured routines for future success. Negatively, it can bring feelings of restriction or delays in progress that require our patience and perseverance. The best use of this energy is to focus on developing a realistic and sustainable approach to our goals and responsibilities, and use them as an opportunity for personal growth and maturity, and just focus on developing and living in a realistic mindset and take a sustainable approach to reaching your goals and responsibilities. On the 7th of October, Venus makes a quintile to Pluto, Mercury makes a BiQuintile to Saturn, and the moon leaves via combustor as well. So Venus is in the constellation of Libra and Jupiter is in Taurus when it makes a BiQuintile to Jupiter, and Mercury is in the constellation of Virgo and Saturn's in Aquarius, and these are nice, subtle, esoteric energy. So most of us will feel these energies inward, and especially if you have them in your natal chart as well. And both of these energies last us up until about the 8th of October. So when the moon leads via combustor, which is the fiery way in astrology, so this is between the 15 degrees of Libra and Scorpio, it allows us to have some more emotional and psychological stability, because when the moon's in via combustor, it brings more turbulence and challenges. It can make us, feel more calm, but negatively we can still be, experience that inner turmoil and be a bit more emotional sensitive because of the via combustor period. But technically on the positive, it just allows us to have more emotional balance, as I said. So Venus is BiQuintile to Jupiter, allows us and supports you in being more creative and working on your financial abundance as well. So if you are in debt, make you think of eternal healthy ways, not get rich and all those, scams that are out there, but productive ways to get you out of debt. And if you want to bring more financial abundance into your life, it allows you to think of, practical ideas. But, it is Jupiter energy here with Venus, so we just have to be careful of overindulgence and being extravagant at this time. The best use of this energy is to focus on nurturing your emotional well-being and developing harmonious relationships and channeling your creativity towards practical plans, and remember to maintain a sense of moderation and groundedness amongst the positive energies that flow through these transits. In terms of Mercury's BiQuintile to Saturn, when Mercury's in Virgo and Saturn is in Aquarius, and we're also still in the crescent moon phase, it allows us to have more practical thinking and mental clarity. It provides and supports the structure and strategic planning I've talked about already this week, and just allows us and supports us in being disciplined and focused, especially with our long-term goal setting. But negatively, it can lead to rigidity, inflexibility in thinking and communication, and this can lead to challenges in adapting to new ideas or being overly critical of ourselves and others. The best use of this energy is to be practical in your thinking and action. Lay down solid foundations for future plans. So write down, voice note your plans, do mind maps, whatever technique can help you, visualize and do whatever you can to stay realistic and grounded in what you want to achieve in the long term of your life, and ignore delayed gratification this week, On the 8th of... wrong. Oh my gosh. What I meant to say is, try your best to delay your gratification this week. Don't ignore it, but yeah. So on the 8th of October, Mercury makes a BiQuintile to Uranus at 4:33 a.m. Venus makes a trine to Mars at 11:22 a.m. Mercury trines Jupiter at 1:23 p.m. and the moon enters void, of course, at 6:54 p.m. and the moon enters Sagittarius at 11:39 p.m. as well. So in terms of Mercury's BiQuintile to Uranus, this enters on the 7th of October at 4:32, as I said, and leaves us at 6:39 p.m. on the 8th of October. And Mercury's in Virgo and Uranus is in Taurus. Venus is trine to Mars, leaves us on the 9th of October, is exact at 11:21 a.m. as I said, and entered on the 7th of October. And Mercury makes a trine to Jupiter, and Jupiter's in Taurus, and of course Mercury's still in Virgo, and Mercury makes an opposition to Chiron, which I talked about earlier this week. So yeah, but that's exact today at 3:36 p.m. So when the moon's in Sagittarius, we can expect to increase in optimism and us wanting adventure. It can give us a sense of freedom, a thirst for knowledge, and desire to explore newer realities. On the downside, we can be more restless and impulsive. Mercury's BiQuintile to Uranus brings us flashes of insight, innovative thinking and original ideas, and it encourages us to be unconventional in our communication and helps us to think outside of the box. It can help us to find a unique solution to long-standing problems at work, and it marks a period of innovation and change in practical matters such as finances, technology and values. Positively, it includes groundbreaking discoveries, revolutionary ideas in finance and technological advancements. However, the negative aspect can lead to sudden disruptions or unexpected changes that can be unsettling. And Venus is trine to Mars, while Venus is in Libra and Mars is in Gemini, helps us with developing passion this week and our creativity and mutual understanding in shared activities and in our relationships in general. Helps us with cooperating with others, but negatively adds to the impulsiveness of the week as well. Overall, this energy brings a balance between feminine and masculine energies, so we can just use that to stay in balance, to be assertive when need be, and to be receptive and receiving and understanding when need be as well. Mercury's trine to Jupiter happens, as I said, when Mercury's in Virgo and Jupiter's in Taurus, so it just helps us with our intellectual growth this week, our optimism, and it's great for communicating and learning. So a lot of energy just supporting us in learning new things, starting old projects, getting things off our chest this week, allowing us to be optimistic. But negatively, Mercury's trine to Jupiter can make us too overconfident and too cocky-rocky, too big for our boots, like, look at me, I can do everything. Just try and stay grounded and self-aware as well. And again, we've got that Mercury opposition to Chiron, which is the same as the parallel, and this energy just reminds us that we can have feelings of being inadequate, not good enough this week, and old wounds can come up. We can have difficulties in expressing our emotions clearly, but if we're open to being self-aware and having empathy and compassion to ourselves and others, and doing self-reflection, we can find resolutions to past problems, past historic psychological, emotional, physical, and all sorts of abuse. And if you are suffering from any of those, I send my genuine love and empathy, that helps out there. And a lot of the time in life we can blame ourselves for things that happen in our childhood and in relationships, and a lot of the time we have to have empathy for ourselves and nurture ourselves and not let the past rob us of the good of the future. On the 9th of October, Mercury makes a parallel to Saturn. As I said, I talked about this aspect at the beginning of the week, and Jupiter also enters retrograde. When Jupiter is retrograde in Taurus, so it's going to stay there for about 5 months, I think, right up to next year. So this energy wants us to really go within ourselves for growth and expansion, rather than seeking external validation or success. And doing this can lead to a deeper understanding of what truly matters to you and guide you towards aligning your actions with your values. And if you want to know more about this in depth, of course, you know me, I've done a separate audio, so check that out. But in short, on the negative end, it can lead to us resisting change, not wanting to change, and this can get in the way of much needed growth that can be seen from your external circumstances or your inner mood, because a lot of the time we get the calling from inside ourselves to change, but we get scared. We're in our comfort zones, we've got work and all life and all other commitments. But I believe if we really want to find, our peace and happiness, we sort of can, if we're willing to take the daily steps to do so. And it wants us to look at our financial setbacks or challenges that we have to our stability and overall security in general, and just think about how we can improve, stability in our life in general as well, and what daily habits we can give up to, bring more abundance into our life and more assertiveness and more structure and routine. The best use of Jupiter in retrograde is to use it for introspection and realign with your goals or create new goals, reevaluate your core values and align with them. Make sure you're living the life you want to and not to the expectations of others. Be open to reflection and reassessment, and allow yourself to think of solutions rather than giving up when obstacles come your way as well. And be flexible when overcoming obstacles and embrace change, and stay mindful of any tendencies towards being rigid or pessimistic, and strive to have an open mind and explore new ideas and perspectives. On the 10th of October, Mercury enters Libra. Mercury makes its exact contra-parallel to Chiron at 4:18, and I talked about this earlier this week. Venus makes a quincunx to Jupiter. Venus also makes a quincunx to Chiron. The moon's north node goes direct, and the moon enters its first quarter moon phase, and Venus makes a sextile quadrant to the moon's north node. So as you can see, we've got a lot going on there. Okay, so Venus is in the constellation of Libra when it makes its quincunx to Jupiter and sextile quadrant to the Moon's North Node. Both of these aspects are leaving us on the 11th of October. So when Mercury enters Libra, it supports us, being diplomatic in our communications, and we need that this week. And if you want to know more in depth, of course, I've done a separate audio on this. It allows us to see multiple perspectives in our situation and making it easy to reach fair and balanced decisions. Positively, it can help us improve relationships and promote understanding and cooperation. It's a great time for negotiations, signing contracts, or resolving conflicts peacefully. However, there may be a tendency towards indecisiveness or overthinking during this transit. During the first quarter moon phase, it's a time of action and challenges. It pushes us to take concrete steps towards our goals and address any obstacles that come our way. It can be a period of high energy, and it can bring a sense of urgency in going after what we desire, and it helps us to initiate new projects and make important decisions. On the downside, it can lead to feelings of frustration if things don't get planned, and it's essential to channel this energy productively and stay focused on your objectives to avoid becoming overwhelmed by the challenges that can come up. Venus's quincunx to Jupiter happens, as I said, when Venus is in Libra and Jupiter's in Taurus. It allows us to make the changes we need in our love life, our finances, and personal growth. So a lot of energy supporting that this week. It supports us in finding a balance between indulging, eating too much, drinking too much, taking too much drugs, smoking too much weed, drinking too much alcohol, and any other habit, Netflix and chilling, hook up in and all of that, and doing things to expand ourselves on a healthy level, on the mind, body and spirit level, that are productive and healthy, so eating well, going to the gym, going for a walk, going to bed on time and stuff like that as well. We can feel a pull between our desire for harmony and pleasure, which is represented by Venus in Libra, and opportunities for growth and abundance, which is represented by Jupiter in Taurus. Positively offers us a chance to expand our relationships and financial prospects for being diplomatic, making strategic decisions, and by embracing the qualities of both Venus in Libra's charm and Jupiter in Taurus stability, we can overcome and get over these challenges with grace and optimism. It's a time for cultivating patience, generosity, and having a long-term view while pursuing your ambitions. And remember to trust in the process and believe in the abundance that the universe has in store for you. And when Venus makes a sextile quadrant to the Moon's North Node, it creates an energetic influence that can be both challenging and rewarding, encouraging you to explore your relationships and social connections more deeply, and you may find yourself being more drawn to forming new connections or strengthening existing ones during this time, and this can lead to personal growth and a great understanding of your emotional needs within relationships. On the flip side, this sextile quadrant aspect can bring up tension and challenges in your relationships, and it wants you to balance your needs with the needs of others, and it's important to communicate openly and honestly to avoid misunderstandings or conflicts. And practically, you may find yourself, pushed or feeling the need to deal with underlying unresolved relationship issues. So a lot of this energy this week is forcing us to confront the things we don't want to confront, and having those difficult conversations that ultimately can be hard but lead to more authentic connections. So some of you in long-term relationships can have discussions about your long-term individual couple goals and commitments, and it wants you to address any emotional, psychological, spiritual barriers you have in your relationship and just face the underlying truth. So the best use of Venus's sextile quadrant to the Moon's North Node is to deepen your relationships with yourself and others, embrace the opportunity to have open and honest conversations with your loved ones, and use this time to explore your emotional needs within your relationships as well. And remember that challenges can lead to growth, so approach any tensions that come up with a mindset of understanding and communication. Okay, so on the 11th of October, the moon enters void, of course. The moon enters Capricorn as well. Venus makes a contra-parallel to Uranus, and Mercury makes a quincunx to Uranus as well. So Venus's contra-parallel to Uranus entered on the 6th of October, is exact on the 11th of October and leaves next week on the 17th of October. And Mercury's quincunx to Uranus entered on the 11th of October, is exact at 3:45, as I said, and leaves us around the 14th of October. So yeah, so when Venus in Libra is forming a contra-parallel to Uranus in Taurus, it can just bring excitement and unexpected opportunities like surprise date nights and, you know, surprise windfalls of money. You know, you may find a cent or a penny, you know, something like that. And it just allows us to feel more open to trying new things and exploring unconventional approaches to love and money as well. It also can lead to breakthroughs in creativity, unique partnerships or sudden windfalls. Negatively, we can be impulsive and unstable in our emotions and financial decisions. The best use of this energy is to stay open-minded and adaptable to changes that come your way. Embrace being spontaneous and innovative. Uranus energy brings us, you know, the chance to, you know, just get out of our comfort zone as well. And for some of you, you know, if you're facing a sunset challenge during this transit, if you approach it from a fresh perspective or be willing to experiment with different solutions, this can be good. And similarly in financial matters, be cautious of impulsive spending, but also be ready to seize unexpected opportunities that can lead to positive outcomes. And it can, you know, stimulate us being more unconventional communication, innovative in our thinking as well. We may find ourselves coming out of the box solutions to our problems and, you know, experiencing sudden flashes of insight and genius for some of you, you know, especially if you've got strong Uranus energy in your chart, 11th house, 3rd house, even 6th house energy in your chart as well, even 7th house energy. So the best use of this energy is to embrace the spontaneousness and being unpredictable. And even though some of the things that come up may be challenging, you know, try and just, you know, look for solutions rather than, you know, be inflexible, and maintain a balance between being traditional and modern, avant-garde, you know, alternative in your approaches to solving your problems right now. Stay flexible in your thinking, open to new ideas, and find creative ways to communicate your thoughts effectively despite any challenges that may come up. And this period offers a chance for personal growth through embracing change and exploring uncharted territories in both your thoughts and interactions. On the 12th of October, Pluto goes stationary direct, Jupiter makes a set star to Chiron, the Sun makes a BiQuintile to Saturn, and Mercury makes a quincunx to Neptune as well. So Jupiter set star to Chiron happens when Jupiter's in Taurus and Chiron's in Pisces. The Sun's BiQuintile to Saturn, which is nice subtle energy, happens when Saturn is in Aquarius and the Sun's in Virgo. And Mercury's quincunx to Neptune happens when Mercury is in Libra and Neptune's in Pisces. So when Jupiter makes a sextile to Chiron, it brings, you know, towards the end of the week, more opportunities for healing, reflecting on the week, what you've done right, what you've done wrong, maybe, you know, where you may want to think about, you know, resolving some issues that you may have created in the week as well. It helps us to tap into our inner strengths and overcome past emotional wounds, and it encourages us to embrace our vulnerabilities and see them as sources of strength, because they really are. You know, when we're aware of our vulnerabilities, because a lot of the time I've noticed, even when trying to talk to people on or offline, you know, we have these walls up, and our walls, you know, it's good to be aware. I'm very aware of red flags. Before I didn't used to be, but I still can let people in, because we have to get this inner center, you know, and it takes, you know, for some of you it may take a year, so some of you it may take 3 years, for some of you 10 years or 20 years, you know, but the trick is to keep on trying to build this inner stable core, this self-love. So when these external events happen, because life will always be lifing, you know, and sometimes people's math does not math at all, you know, so we always have to have our wits about us. But within saying that, you know, we can build resilience, so we can let our walls down, because we know we can be open and honest, and it just it just feels so much better talking from experience, having this inner core, even when life is lifing, because even when the crap goes to fan, because I'm not saying, the other word, we still got our inner core self-love, understanding, respect and worth and forgiveness, and this is really, really good. So this energy allows us to strengthen ourselves and to tap into that deeper emotional healing and self-understanding and knowing, increasing our self-love, respect, awareness, esteem as well. And it can just make us have a greater sense of purpose and allows us for career advancements and relationships and personal development. But negatively, we can become overly idealistic or self-righteous at this time. So it's important to embrace being optimistic with being practical, to make the most of any opportunities that come our way. And the best use of this energy is to engage in spiritual practices, self-reflection, seeking guidance from healers or mentors that are trustworthy, and just nourish your mind, body and soul by connecting with your intuition and doing things in healthy ways to soothe you or help you, explore your emotions and psychological wounds in a safe way. The Sun's BiQuintile to Saturn is nice, subtle energy that helps us with our creativity and discipline and allows us to find innovative ways to approach our responsibilities and long-term goals. So a lot of energy supporting us doing that this week, and this energy nicely rounds off the week, allowing us to manifest our ambitions into reality, being more determined, patient and persevere, being more strategic in our thinking, and this can lead to tangible results in our plans. But negatively, we can feel overwhelmed by the demands of work or obligations, and it's crucial to avoid becoming too rigid or controlling in our approach and to stay open to new ideas and flexibility. The best way to make use of the Sun's BiQuintile to Saturn is to channel this energy into organising and optimising our daily routines and tasks, and embracing a more methodical approach to problem solving, and pay attention to details and set realistic goals for yourself. It supports disciplined efforts that yield long-lasting rewards and personal growth. The positives of Mercury's Quincunx Neptune, again, it supports our spiritual awareness and creativity and meditation and exploring abstract ideas. Can find ourselves more empathetic and compassionate under this energy. So a lot of energy supporting us. So we've got the obstacles this week, but a lot of energy supporting us to go within ourselves and be more loving and gentle with others as well. But negatively, as always, Neptune energy can bring deception, misunderstanding, us wanting to escape, being prone to wistful thinking, and wanting to see things in a romantic, idealistic ways, especially in our love life. So it's very important to be aware of your boundaries and other people's boundaries and not have unrealistic expectations. And if you are confused, double check, ask someone to repeat what they said again, or talk to someone who's normally got a lot of Saturn energy or Capricorn energy or Virgo energy in their chart, or maybe Mercury, Gemini, Aquarius energy in their chart to give you advice. The best use of this energy is to use it to stimulate your creativity and intuition, journal and engage in spiritual practices, and being mindful of your communication to avoid misunderstandings, and be open, to exploring new perspectives and ideas with clarity and discernment, and balance logic with intuition. And this can lead to making insightful discoveries about your personal growth and relationships, or anything else you need insight into at this time. So yeah, that's the end of the weekly scopes from the 6th to the 12th of October. Take care and see you next time.